Welcome everybody. Welcome to my regulars, to my friends, to viewers, to those who show up randomly, find me on the internet for this CD special. I appreciate you being here and showing support. Today, I just got a whole bunch of CDs, and I thought, what better way to share my music and my joy and this experience of reintroducing CDs to the music sort of enjoyment process, where they were very popular before. They've seen a bit of a revival because, let's face it, CD music streaming sometimes isn't as reliable as we want, and CDs have this magical sort of standardized quality that we can always reach for with or without the internet. So I thought that would be cool just to kind of showcase the stuff that I picked up today. I want to make sure that my mic is working. Sounds good. Okay, so anybody can let me know in the chat that the sound is on, the microphones are working, the levels are okay. I'm going to check some of the media here as well. Live is always, it's like there's always something going on. It seems like it's doing okay here, so that's good. Okay, so without further ado, what I'm going to do is bring in, basically, I'm just going to showcase, I'm going to hold up each CD that I have, and we'll go through the whole bags that I have. I mean, seriously, I ended up buying, I'm not even sure how many it is. I think it's like almost 200 CDs or something like that. And what I'll do is just go through them all and talk about whatever the CDs that I have, and let me know in the chats or comments if you have these CDs, if you know of them. I will give you some feedback on whether I have seen them before or not. Some of them might be copies of stuff that I already have. This one, for instance, I have no idea what this is. The title of the CD is Clash on Broadway. It is on Epic Records. This is 1991 Sony Music Entertainment. I don't know what this is, but it came in the package anyways, and I thought, this is this is similar to like music streaming, where you get an algorithm or somebody else has selected these CDs over a period of time, and now that they don't want to have them in the house or it takes up too much space, they don't have a CD player, they've chosen to relinquish them, and now I get to browse through the media that they've selected over a number of years. So first one down, first CD, there is a CD inside. If there's anybody watching back in the day, anybody who's new to CDs, be like, "What are these CDs you talk about?" But most of you know what CDs are. I'm being funny. So that's Clash on Broadway. That's the first CD open in the collection here, and I'm just gonna hand them off to the side. I don't really have a plan for how to do this. This one was an absolute banger back in the day. Stone Temple Pilots. The reflection's really going to be annoying. I don't know how to do this any other better way other than to turn them sideways. Stone Temple Pilots was definitely a big band back in the day. There's their number one hit. What was the number one hit? Creep? Plush? I can't remember exactly. Maybe even showing the fact that you get this kind of artwork. So yeah, that was a very big name band back in the day. Most of these CDs, I believe, because my friend and I are both kind of the same age, these CDs will end up being roughly the same time period. A lot of '90s stuff, from what I recall. The Black Crows. There's another '90s band, very shiny CD surface. But the cool thing with streaming, I think, is you can discover bands a lot faster, share them a lot faster. And yes, there is artwork that you can have a look at, but it's like this era for music and being able to actually have a physical media on you. It was such an interesting time. I mean, every generation is going to say the same of something that we're going through, but when CDs were introduced in terms of a selling market, there was a lot of money to be made for bands and the industry around this time. I mean, the charts will show how much money was actually generated. And the cool thing is, I don't need permission or rental charge or the internet to listen to this. All I need is a CD player that functions and a system that I can bring out to the dock, or if I'm at the cottage, or if I'm going mobile, you could just bring a system that was capable of playing CDs and play them anywhere. Similar to streaming, but without the internet. So if you don't have Wi-Fi, you don't have mobile devices, you're not streaming from a Bluetooth, whatever. These you can bring anywhere. They were pretty much the thing, honestly. And it's nostalgia that I'm buying them on, but at the same time, it's not trending because, I mean, I'm not picking them up because it's trending. I'm picking it up because this is how I always valued listening to music. There's a standard to it. There's an output that can be relied upon. Classic bands like The Doors, for instance, in this collection. And the the same looking CD cover that we remember from decades ago. These reflections are really messing this up. So yeah, The Doors are in there. I don't have enough space on my desk to actually just put them down in front of me. I don't want to be leaning back and forth. And if anybody's watching out there, just let me know what it sounds like, if everything is coming through well. I just want to make sure the stream maintains itself. If the microphone's not working, please let me know somehow. If you're watching on a TV, then enjoy. I appreciate you being here. I know that it's not always easy to just sit with a device and watch, and sometimes it sounds better if you're on a device and you can listen through a system. Sadly, there's not going to be much of a showcase in music today. I'm not in the other room. I thought that this would be cool to do instead. The Cult Ceremony CD. A lot of artwork that's included in these CDs. This CD holder actually happens to be broken. So the really sad part is if the middle spindle gets broken, if the teeth get broken off, as you can see there, the CD does spin a bit loose and may fall out. So I want to make sure that I maintain the reed surface. Otherwise, that's a big problem. It's the big difference between digital streaming and digital files, where you can't scratch or interrupt that kind of medium. But with a physical CD, if the surface gets scratched or the laser or something doesn't get, cleaned or is dusty or whatnot, the physical media can actually have some downsides. So it's kind of like win-win. There are some things that are positive about it, some things that are negative about it. Personally, I'm just excited to see what else is in this collection. I have a lot of stuff to go through. I mean, I bought a lot. There's a lot here, so let's see. Let's fly through some of them. This is a double CD. This is crazy. Is this the same band? Yeah, it's the same one. So maybe that was... It's interesting. Soundgarden. That's a classic CD right there. I'm excited to have that in the house. Can't put them here. There's not going to be enough space. So forgive me for shifting back and forth. Dreamers, Shenanigans. I don't know this one. I'm not familiar with this at all. But that's okay. That's part of the joy of learning about it. Now this is the one that I was actually really happy about. This is Nirvana Unplugged. This album was an absolute classic. Sorry about the reflections. Yeah, I got reflections everywhere. So Nirvana Unplugged, fantastic CD. Let me turn that down. That's still on. Okay. So yeah, this is a big hit for me, so I'm going to put that one on the table. Weezer was a number one hit for a while in the 90s, so that's pretty cool to have. The classic Queen album, that's got to have some bangers on it. Bohemian Rhapsody, Under Pressure, Radio Gaga. This is like the hits, all their biggest sort of tunes. Is it 17 songs on a CD? Wow. Most of these like albums that come out now only have like 10 songs. It's amazing to have 17 songs. Granted, they're only 4.5 minutes long ish, so that makes sense. Queen, that's an absolute top tier CD band. And then another classic by Nirvana. This is In Utero. Very, very classic CD of theirs. One of the last, I believe. I don't think there was a. I believe there was another CD after this one. So that one's staying in the clutch. Stone Temple Pilots. There's another one. Really, what is this? Gracious Melodies. Pretty cool. Pearl Jam CD. There's another really, really cool CD. Sheep poking its nose through the fence on the CD cover. It's a really interesting part of, like, back in the day. Each album had artwork included, back, front and back of the CD. Now, the backs of the CDs, people don't see this very much anymore. You get the CD cover, like everybody's seen this image. That's part of the CD cover. That's how they get launched. But not a lot of people get to see the back of the CDs anymore. This is a part that even I threw away when I had binders. This gets lost. This is part of the artwork of the CD itself. Pardon me as I blow my nose so rudely on stream here. Oh my goodness. Why is there a child lock on my Kleenex box? They just want me to ruin a whole bunch of Kleenex, so I have to buy a box sooner. Now mute myself. That's what happens when you get sick and you still want to do some stuff. Anyways, apologies. This is a very real, candid, sort of raw show. I don't hide really anything. I don't want to look perfect up here. Just a dude who's excited about music. Depeche Mode. Not really a big fan of the band. I know they made quite a hit back in the day for a lot of people. There's some soundtracks in here. This is a soundtrack for a movie called French Kiss. That's interesting. That's got, who's in that? I don't even recognize them. Meg Ryan is the lady that's here. There you go. So Meg Ryan, French Kiss. Never even seen the movie before. And now, magically, I have the soundtrack. Melrose Place. Melrose Place was a show back in the 90s. That's pretty cool. Simple Minds, Glittering. I don't recognize this at all. It's another one that showed up in this system. So that's 81 to 92. That might be like a all of their hits kind of thing. Black Flag. That's a nice punk rock band right there. The Doors. The Soft Parade. Sloan. Sloan's a 90s band that I recall. I see 6 people watching in the chat, or at least in the, let's see the reactions there. I can't see reactions from the side, but I'm trying to keep my YouTube open as well. So anyways, thanks for joining in on this. This is really interesting for me to go through because it's a lot of discovery for me as well. Erasure, I've never even heard of this before, but now I have it. Putting these aside. This was a really cool industrial sort of band, KMFDM. KMFDM was like a 90s 2000s sort of industrial sound, a little bit like techno, but not really. It's more like industrial. So it tracks the line between the two. It's a little bit like rock, a little bit like techno, but it isn't. Lenny Kravitz. That's a classic one right there. Are You Gonna Go My Way? And I bet you as soon as I said that, you guys could hear it in your head. That's the beauty of music, right? Like your senses will remind you of something that was going on. You can hear a sound or smell something and your mind just brings that moment back. So it's like music in that way, and nostalgia is not just a gimmicky fad or whatever. It literally almost acts like time traveling. If you are whisked back to a time when you heard this song or a place, or in a way, any captured media is like time traveling to when it happened. So, like musicians in studio capturing and playing their music, really cool stuff. This one, I'm gonna let this one off the chain a little early. I'm not gonna hold on to it. This one is a special box set. This is the Chemical Romance box set. This is actually really cool. When you do streaming, you don't get this kind of thing. This is a black velvet box that has artwork in it. There's a whole booklet in here that you can open up. You can look at all the artwork, pull these posters out, and then you have special sticker and CD inside, like metal. Actually, yeah, there's an artwork there. So, like, that's really, really cool. This is really good paper here as well. So, yeah, artwork of the band. I bet for somebody, some fan of this band, this would be like super, super cool. Yeah, there's a whole booklet here. This has got all kinds of stuff in it. You could probably find it online, but you know, this is a Edgewise lyrics, details about the band, stuff like that they wanted to put in there. So like this is a lot of work, and it's really cool to have like an entire box set like that. And like I said, this is comes in a black velvet box. So like that's really, really cool. So if there's anybody out there that's a giant My Chemical Romance fan, I got you. I'm not greedy. I can share. Aerosmith, that's a classic album right there where one truck is like humping the other truck. See, we were less controlled back in the day, and certain things were able to happen. Certain phrases, wording, behaviors, humor, things like that, they weren't so controlled. And I mean, I guess there's a reason why it is controlled now. But I mean, some of it was, I still feel like it was relatively harmless. I didn't turn out very bad. We could get away with it, I believe. Oh, this one should be really fun. It's just a collection of rave anthems. That'll be awesome. And then some loose CDs here. What is this? Hit Club, Power Pop. This sounds like, these are like, I don't know what these are. Addicted to Groove. These CDs are quite scratched, I gotta admit. They're not in a case. They don't look very good. Oh, I don't know if there's a CD cleaning kit or something like that I can get my hands on. I am going to put Alice in Chains up on this side, Aerosmith on this side. Oh my goodness, back in the day. So there's a HMV was the name of the record store we used to go to pick up stuff. And this is like a compilation CD of hardcore sort of songs. So Silverchair, Clunk, Edwin, Finger 11. I don't know about that. Josh Groban, vocalist, I believe piano player, maybe guitarist. Not familiar, but now I have it. Now I'll get familiar with it. So that helped. Stack right here. So kind of fly through them. So there's REM there. This could be anything. Soundgarden's. So this could be a bunch of different stuff. I don't recognize this on the title. Annihilator 2 could be techno for all I know, but it doesn't fit the motif of the rest of the songs. Now, this is a big one. That's one that I wanted in my collection for a long time. I was just actually talking to some of my other friends and fans of Sleep Token that, well, that's broken. um, Guns N' Roses song November Rain is one of those songs that is one of the best that they ever did, as far as I'm concerned. And a lot of the fans of Sleep Token compare and talk about how, the lyrics are emotional, the songs are so well put together, and I agree with them. I have nothing to take against or take away from their writing and their performance and their ability to capture an audience. But at the same time, like, we've had music for a long time, so there's always been a lot of emotion and intelligence and storytelling in music. However, rare recently, I see, like a lot of bands and a lot of things that have been going on in songs lately, especially pop music, if that's the majority of what people have experienced. Bands like Sleep Token are not very common. And when they come along, especially at a time where there's a drought for depth and lyricism, they do make a giant impact. And right now, they're riding this line of, genres where they're, performing some metal sounds, some pop sounds. They're able to communicate this amazing sort of like mythology and lore in the lyrics, and it's thematic. So people are really drawn into that. And it's been, I don't know how many years that I can remember or think of another band that does that with a very, very like audible and intelligible voice. When he sings, even if it's metal, it's not always screaming. You can hear every word, and he does a good job at pronouncing every sort of syllable in those words. Some metal bands do that, but you can't understand a word they're saying, so people just kind of dismiss them. Wolf Mother, I've never even heard of this before. Now I have it. Now I will hear it. Sort of the point. I was happy to pick all this stuff up. There's an album by U2 that I didn't get pushed to me automatically through Apple Music. Remember when they used to do that? So you're going to get this music whether you like it or not. There's an ultimate CD right there. Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. That's got Night Train, Paradise City, Sweet Child of Mine, Rocket Queen, all the ultimate classic songs. And like, there's a lot of people out there who probably know this image. This is one of those like all-time classic Guns N' Roses t-shirts. A lot of people will wear this just to kind of be popular. Owning the CD and having it from like when I was just a kid. I mean, I remember dressing up as Axl Rose. I swear to God, dressing up as Axl Rose for Halloween. The long hair, the bandana on my head, the red bandana with like a wooden cutout guitar, and I went out as this like rock and roll guy. I wonder if there's an image of the guy in here. Probably not. No, there isn't. There's a really cool bit of artwork inside though. You want to see what's going on in the welcome to the jungle, baby. It's just the way it was. Music was really different, and it's interesting to kind of catch the references in fandom right now and talking about who's the best and who's the worst and that kind of thing. But for me, Guns N' Roses is way, way up there, like a really, really big standout brand. Let's see. So I've always loved that Parliament Funkadelic did with Mothership Connection art. Exactly. See, like the depth in music is, from my perspective, is relatively rare right now. A lot of pop music is out there and it sells and it's easy to listen to and it reaches a lot of people, and some executives and labels will make a lot of money. But when it comes to like depth and intelligence, like, if in my perspective, we've been at a very, very dry spell for that and for a long time. So it'd be nice to kind of return to something. So this is Course of Empire. I've never even heard of this before. This is not really like, I don't believe my friend was really into metal music. Most of this is probably like rock, sort of, mild rock, standard rock sort of music. Um, I have a lot of heavy metal in my library. Slayer, Metallica, Sepultura, Cannibal Corpse, Cryptopsy, like really heavy metal bands. That's what most of my CDs are. So this helps me lighten that up, and I have other bands like Roxette, Joyride. Joyride's like one of those '90s tunes you can still hear on and in stores sometimes. So thanks for leaving the comment. I appreciate that. Anybody else who has anything to say at all or feedback on any CDs, or maybe a CD or an album or something that you wanted to buy and didn't get your hands on, let me know. Let's have a chat. I'm here live so we can live communicate. This isn't me talking at you. You're welcome to give me some input. The Smiths, Queen of, what is this? Queen of the Dead? The Queen is Dead? So I don't know what their number one song is here, but I know that the Smiths were a really big band. Not a big band like, um, Duke Ellington big band. I mean, big band isn't well known. Uh, Juliana Hatfield. I don't know anything about this one. It's pretty cool album art though. And let me see. Steppenwolf. I know this one. I think my mom would probably approve of this CD. This is probably in the list. This was 1973, believe it or not. MCA Records. Wow. MCA Records Canada. See, I think that because this is regional, because I'm in Canada, a lot of these are going to be printed locally. So the albums and the record labels that are owned in certain areas are going to distribute that way. That I think that's how that works. The Soup Dragons? What? I'm not even sure. That sounds really cool. And then Love and Rockets. This is probably a very rare, sort of not very well known. Oh yeah, that's a big one. This is Led Zeppelin, House of Holy. So the songs on here, the song remains the same. Rain Song, Over the Hills, The Crudge, Dancing Days, No Quarter, The Ocean. This was 1973, Atlantic Records. Definitely a classic. That's going in my more immediate file. Juliana Hetfield again. Not familiar with. I'd have to look it up and hear the song. Put the sound in, put the CD in and listen. New Order. I know New Order did a couple of remixes back in the day, so I do remember that. Front 242. This is definitely industrial music. I remember this one quite well. And the Catherine Wheel. I don't recognize this at all. It's sort of like that Nirvana CD cover where the baby's swimming, but it's not. So we'll see how that goes. And that's bag number one. I have one more bag to go through. And it is right here. Hoping to find some other gems in here, CDs that I was looking for like a long time. See what happens, shall we? There's one from The Cure. The Cure is another very popular band. Collective Soul, I remember this one. A lot of hits came off of this band back in the day. I don't remember the name of the song. Light Shines Down, I think it's called, and I'm not sure if I see it on here. And then more rave anthems. That's really cool. The Best of UB40. I'm sure that a lot of us will recognize the UB40 songs. Red Wine is the #1 hit, of course. That one's going in my top pile. Another one from the Smiths, Best Of. I can barely even see this dude's face. What's up with that? Take a photo. I mean, at least have it visible. Not sure what's happening. Let me see. So why did my sound get cut off? I don't hear anything. Oh, I think I know why. My music was so low, the speakers shut off on their own. Because I've got background music playing here just for me, because I'm not allowed to have music playing in the stream. So it just kind of shut off on its own. The input signal was too low. So let me turn this down. Turn that down. There we go. Should be all good. All right. So this is kind of funny. The way that that's spelled, it's Joey, which I used to go by back in the day. That's, the way my name sort of translates. If my first name is Joe or whatever, then Joey's like if you're into the Italian mafia stuff, I mean, in that sort of scope of naming, then cool, but I haven't gone by the name in a while. Most of my older friends still know me because that's the way that I always presented myself, but nowadays it's mostly just, Joseph, which is my given name for more professional sort of work atmospheres, and Joe just for short, because I feel like that's just easier. Why make somebody say 2 syllables when you can just ask for 1 and save some time? Every second counts. Elton John, way back in the day, great piano man. That's definitely going in my high praise list. The Cure, another one there. I mean, at this rate, I'm going to have every CD The Cure ever put out. Radiohead, that one's way back in the day. Pablo Honey, it might be one of their first albums. EMI Records. What's the date on this one? So all the CDs have information printed on them. You can look up when it was published and when it was released. 1993. 5440. Number of different songs came out by this band back in the day. Couldn't tell you what the #1 song was off the top of my head unless I read it on the cover here. But I mean, even the CD artwork, like the way that the CD's laid out, and then removing the CD, you've got other artwork underneath. Like, if there's something really different. I mean, if you're in that generation, you remember getting an album, pulling the sleeve out, being able to read the artwork, looking at what the band prepared for you. There's something really cool about physical possession. I know that we are unburdened when we have less stuff, but we are also under the thumb of those who allow it in a certain way. Not to get political, but there's something real about having something on hand, and maybe not necessarily in this format, because like I said earlier, I was looking at some of the CDs, and if the CD surface is at all scratched, or if there's a problem with it, and I don't know if this one's very clean, but if there's any problem with that surface, like that smudge right there, or that little, then the laser's not going to be able to read this very well. Now, either the laser tech gets better, it pulls metadata from streaming, which is then it's just playing the stream, or we change the format entirely, which is going to be a completely different discussion. I've already mentioned it a couple of times to some people, but I don't want to keep letting it off the hook. There's one by Big Audio. I've never heard of that before. This one is Come On Feel. Lemonheads. Is that what it says? The Lemonheads. Rick James style. The 1993. That's funny. Never heard of it, but I'm looking forward to sampling it. There's another one, Jesus Jones. A couple popular songs by them back in the day that I recall, just by name. Matthew Sweet. There's a kid there listening to headphones. Real big music sort of cover. Let me see. Another one of these generic sort of like CDs. Don't recognize any of it. Frontline Assembly was definitely industrial back in the day. Well, I mean, obviously it still is. You don't buy the CD and then over time it doesn't age like wine. Like 10 or 20 years later, the CD doesn't turn into a different genre. It doesn't evolve in the ones and zeros while it sits on the shelf. You know what I'm thinking? Machines of Loving Grace. Never heard of this before. It looks pretty kind of cool. This one's not even opened yet. And I remember this band performing at a concert. And I remember I was trying to either hook up with the drummer or whatnot. Some of these ladies on the back were a lot of fun. Met them back in the day. They played a live show way out somewhere outside the city. I remember going to check them out. I don't know if I still have contact with any of them or not, but yeah, I remember this happening back in the day. That's cool. Like that CD's not even opened yet, so that's pretty awesome. This one's just called Electronic by Warner Brothers release, so I'm not sure if that's a band. 1991. Probably not. All right. We have less than half more to go. Bear with me. I do appreciate the reactions there in chat. I can see it now that I've got YouTube pulled up on the side. I don't know what this is, but that's funny as hell. Oh God, it's like this funny. That's oh, no wonder. You're gonna I'm not even gonna read it out, but can't focus. Nope. It's not gonna focus. It's too bright. Butthole Surfers. Okay. There's no wonder that image isn't that funny. James Lade, never heard of this before. The Jesus and Mary Chain, also never heard of this. There's a good chance that there's some random CDs in here from, just around the city or local bands or whatnot. So this is awesome. Now I have both of these. These are the Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. Some amazing songs on here. This one has Civil War, Knocking on Heaven's Door, Shotgun Blues, So Fine, Estranged, Don't Cry alternate lyrics. Amazing. Like some of these, You Could Be Mine. The song You Could Be Mine was featured in Terminator 2 when he's driving his motorcycle away from the T-100, whatever, who's trying to chase him down. You hear that song when they're running, he's riding with his friend through the city. That's the song. This is the CD that has that song in it from Terminator 2. So that's awesome that I have now all 3 of these from Guns N' Roses. Super happy about that. That's an amazing thing to have in my collection. I loved that band from when I was a kid. So that's super awesome. This one don't recognize. 7 Mary 3. Let me get to the chat here. Mbuna's here. What's going on? Where are you going with that CD in your hand? How's it going? Yeah, these I will be doing like a listening session, I suppose. I'll probably bring it into the room and listen to them when I get a chance. Probably won't be today. This is gonna take up a lot, and then later on I got to do a couple of other things. So it won't be today, but there's a CD. This band seems to be called Yaz. I'm not really sure what it is, and that's part of the joy here, and taking this burden off of friends of mine that have limited space, and they want to make some space because they have a family and they don't need all this stuff. That they don't need these CDs anymore, and they don't have a CD player to listen to them, so they end up taking up space. And I'm happy to, make a cool show of it. I've always been really big into CDs, and I made it a point to get a new CD player when I had the opportunity. And there's a CD there by Tragically Hip, another giant name in the Canadian household sort of ways of things. The other two and you, I've never even heard of this before. There's going to be a lot in here that I'm just going to be like, The Cult. There's another very, very popular band. Again, like I said, if I keep scrolling through here, I might end up having like all of their CDs. Oh, cool. This is the Ministry CD. This one might have New World Order on it. This is a big album back in the day. That one's going in my keep file. And then KMFDM CD, very industrial band. Got a couple of those now. There's another CD by the other two. This is probably like a local band. Original motion pictures for the Singles. Singles as in Singles, the movie. Pretty interesting. Music for Pleasure. Like, what else is it for? Monaco. Interesting. Never heard of it. Was this the Doughboys Crush? Doughboys was hip hop, I think, that I remember. No? Could have been anything. Doesn't look like hip hop, that's for sure. Looks more like rock music to me. That's all good. There's another one. There's a double CD by The Cult. So that, again, I'm gonna end up with the whole discography here, like all of the CDs by them. Joy Division. We've seen one by them already. I'll have to do just sort this one out. Put them all in order eventually. Sisters of Mercy. There's a number of popular sort of like gothy tunes on there. Very popular band. All right, rolling through it. The Kinks, 25 years. Polytel. I'm not even sure what Polytel was. If that was a label or something, I'm not sure. Sinead O'Connor. Sinead O'Connor. I don't know. I'm not sure if this one has Nothing Compares. No, I don't think it does. I think this is the one after that. My chair squeaking underneath me. The Charlatans, UK. I've never even heard of that before. Elvis Costello, Punch the Clock. Interesting. This is 1984. Recorded 1995, re-released. Very, very popular for some, I'm sure. Yeah, if you wanted anything before this, you had to get it on vinyl. It's a very interesting part of the music evolution. What is this? This looks interesting. Oh, I don't think I ever had this before. That's why I don't recognize it. This is System of a Down. It's like a paper folded job. This one's got Hypnotized, Tentative, Holy Mountains, Lonely Day. Yeah, I remember this CD now. The Philosopher Kings, I remember them performing in Toronto. They had a massive campaign around that year. They had CDs of that CD cover, like or stickers of the CD cover everywhere. Hinder, I've never even heard of that. Now it's called Tinder, same profile picture. Everything's bait and switch. You know what I'm talking about? You get there and they're nothing like their profile picture. You're like, hey, that's false advertising, but then you can't do anything about it because you probably don't look like your photos either. It's just the way it is. Meet somebody in person. Sisters of Mercy, there's another one. So that's 2, I believe. Yep. Front 24 or 242, so it's more industrial there. I remember them playing a lot back in the day. REM, that's a very, very popular cover. Very popular. That's one of the best. Wasn't really a fan of them. They were very popular sort of music, and I didn't quite get it. There's another one by The Cult. Jeez, like seriously. The whole discography. New Order double album. That one's pretty thick. The CD opens in 2 directions. One of the discs is missing, though. Dun, dun, dun. That's all right. 1 out of 2's not bad. I'm not going to cry. I don't know that they're my favorite anyways. Joy Division. Can't even see anything. It's a really light cover. More Special. They're called the Specials, and this is More Special. Yeah, I bet it's special. That's hilarious. Behind the Wheel, Depeche Mode. Depeche Mode, very popular band. Looks like a speaker on the front there, right? I don't know what's going on there. I think that is a symbol for audio or sound or something. It's like a remix single. So it's remixed versions of one of their songs, it looks like. The Northern Pikes, I've heard of that, but I don't know what they sound like. Another REM album. There's another one by that same Clash on Broadway. That must have been a friend's band. There's like 3 or 4 CDs by them. The Doors, and then a huge CD. This one's by U2. That one's definitely a big one. Sunday Bloody Sunday. Yeah. Red Light Surrender. Yeah. Yeah, this is a big one. Early on. Okay, we're almost there. 1 more stack. 2 more stacks. I lied. We might go to an hour. How is everybody doing out there? If you can, let me know in the chat. If you can't text, then message me somewhere else, perhaps. Definitely after the video, leave a comment or something like that. I always appreciate feedback just to hear from my friends. I do this live to create conversation, not to create content. You can quote me. If you're going to share my channel, you can say, that's why I do this stuff. I do it to share and create conversation, not create content. Another CD there by REM. And this one, oh my God, this one is the ultimate. And it is here. That's amazing. And it is in pretty good condition. That is epic, no pun intended. It's actually recorded on Epic Records. The number one, the one that had us all raging, no pun intended, Rage Against the Machines. Yeah, Killing in the Name of, Take the Power Back, Bullet in the Head, Know Your Enemy, Wake Up, Fistful of Steel, Freedom. This band set a movement on fire with their lyrics. This is what I'm talking about by lyrical depth and intelligence in music. This is some serious history in music. I love it. I'm glad and happy to have that on board right now. Fall Out Boy CD, still got the plastic on it. ASMR. That's pretty cool. Here's another. That's another huge CD. Massive hits back in the day. Even Flow, Black, Jeremy, like amazing CD. This is actually a copy now because I have two of them. I did buy this at a used CD shop a while ago, so I'm happy to have two. If something happens to one, then I don't have to worry about it. And this is like 90s pop, and that's why I changed my name from Joey, because fuck that. I don't want to be associated with that. Not even by the sound of it. Sex Pistols. I don't have any of those, so I can't be associated with those. I mean, I have one, but it's not two. It can't be Sex Pistols if you only have one, right? But I'm not going to walk around and be like, hey, I have a Sex Pistol. That's just silly. This one's called Just Orange. Kind of like the background of the drum set or something. That's, yeah, clever. And then, like, anyways, I'm going to let my ADHD take over my conversation right now. Coldplay is another one, probably very popular. And then one of the biggest hits of all time, Spice Girls. You know it. This was and still is massive. You hear this song playing anywhere. Wannabe. It's how many how many weddings do we hear that at? There's some house music there. Canada's finest house music. Decozy. So I'm just gonna drop a name. Here's a big one. This is something that I'm happy to have. I have a number of these already, and I'm not sure if I have this one. This is Bjork. This is the one that has Army of Me, Hyper Ballad, It's So Quiet, possibly, maybe, very good. And Headphones. Headphones was like one of the first binaural audio songs. She's always been rather controversial. I mean, even the name Bjork is a little weird. She's always been artful, artistic, very estranged. Music always very well done, very deep and meaningful music. Just not, I think popular music is a little more simple. It gravitates towards a bigger audience, in my opinion. And Bjork was always just on the fringes of that. Now, I know that labels and record labels and producers or whatever are going to try to make like pop songs so that the artist can sell to bigger audiences. However, you know what? When the art is amazing, you just got to leave that shit alone. Let artists do whatever the art is. The people are going to come around. I mean, how many people have been out there and made really great music that turned out to be, super popular like later on, right? Like you just got to let art be free. Yes, exactly. And then my friend here here's what I'm talking about. Like there's too many times that I think that producers or marketing or structure or whatever changes the nature of what artistic and what these people are capable of doing, and then it ends up either driving them crazy and then we lose them, or it stifles the extent of their art and then we don't get the actual expression. We get like a filtered, cut down, marketable sale tactic version of it, and that's not really what that person wanted to express. But enough people like it, so they justify chopping it up. Club hits. 2008. Netzer Herb. This looks like an industrial album if I've ever heard of it. It sounds like something straight out of Russia. Geffen Records. Warner Brothers. All right, we're almost at the end here. Hang with me. Ministry. Another one in the in the ranks. I think that's 3 for Ministry. REM, Out of Time. This is also a very popular album. Tripping Daisy, Elastic Firecracker. Now this, I'm gonna show this album cover, and it's just body paint. Okay, everybody, it's body paint. Tripping Daisy. Never heard of it before. There's another one there by REM, all like a very ultra popular band. Morrissey. I remember Morrissey, the name, but I don't remember the sound of any of the songs off the top of my head. Is the sound okay like when I move back and forth? You guys can hear me, right? Frank Black. It's funny. If this guy's not black, I'm gonna, and of course he's not. It's like a chubby white dude. Frank Black, you fucking liar. I'm just kidding. You could easily have a last name by Black if that's his real name. I'm just playing around. Red Cross, I'm not really sure about that. Never heard of it before. I'm just playing. Offspring, that's their first album. That was a smash hit. It was super, super popular when it came out. Gotta keep them separated. Yeah, that was a massive tune. Yeah, I remember that one. It's not going in my ultimate pile. Frontline Assembly, that's an ultimate industrial sort of pop band. That one's going in my pile. Ministry, I think this is the one, the New World Order. Nope. It's not, but that's 3 or 4 for Ministry, so that's cool. And then Soul Asylum, they've got that song, Somebody to Shove, Black Gold, Runaway Train, Keep It Up, Homesick, New World, April Fool, Without a Trace, Runaway Train. Oh yeah, I remember that. So that's not the song I was thinking about, but yeah, very popular back in the day. There's a lot of 90s pop stuff in here. The Breeders. Looks like it's like a heart that's meant to look like a strawberry kind of thing. Really interesting CD art. And the KLF, this song, what is it? The Church of KLF, Last Train, Build a Fire, White Room, No More Tears, Justified and Ancient. Yeah, that's the one. Justified and Ancient. I thought there was like a 3 a.m. Eternal. That's the other one. 3 a.m. Eternal and Justified and Ancient are the ones. It's not the... There's a couple of different dance albums that would be cool to get my hands on. I need to actually ask my local neighborhood if anybody's got... I'm going to put that in my ultimate pile here. So I can show off in the last little while, it's almost an hour, my top picks from this whole collection. I'm going to move my camera around. There's the that's the stack of CDs. Sort of what it looks like all together. Now, I'll show you the ones that I picked out as my top list. The Frontline Assembly CD, because they were super popular, and I'm sure I'm going to know a number of songs from this one. The Bjork CD, this one is Post. So that's got possibly Maybe on it. Pearl Jam, this one's got 10. Jeremy, great CD. The Rage Against the Machine CD, that's definitely on my top list for obvious reasons. There's a Ministry CD here, I think might have New World Order song on it. I'm not sure. I have to actually check the song lists. But that song I remember quite distinctly. A Led Zeppelin CD is in there. This is the one that's got No Quarter. And then UB40 Best Of. UB40 was just, classic red wine. Can't get over that. Elton John, anything Elton John's automatically in. The KLF album, because of those 2 cool dance tracks from back in the day. Then all of the Guns N' Roses CDs. Appetite for Destruction. Use Your Illusions 1, that has November Rain. And then Use Your Illusions 2, that has that You Could Be Mine, Civil War. Some really great music from Guns N' Roses. You want to talk about emotional. Aerosmith, the Hump Trucks. You're not going to get that phrase out of your mind now. Hump trucks. You've heard of dump trucks. Now you got hump trucks. Watch out on the street near you. Alice in Chains. This is a very classic album too. Sick Man, Dirt, Angry Chair, Wood, Down in a Hole. Very, very classic album. Another amazing singer too, Lance Staley. Nirvana, In Utero, another singer lost too soon, Pressures of Life, or whatever the hell might have happened. Nirvana Unplugged, an ultimate classic album for hi-fi. And then last but not least, of course, Queen, the almost best of the best. You know, you can't go wrong with this. Radio Gaga, Bohemian Rhapsody, Under Pressure, a bunch of other songs on here I've probably never even heard of before, but that's the collection. That's my live stream for today. Hopefully this one probably won't get demonetized because I didn't actually play any music in the background. Pardon me here as I mute my phone. People trying to get a hold of me. Yeah, so thanks for being here. I see this laughing here. I've been telling jokes this whole time. I appreciate you being here and supporting my channel. Dropping by, leaving some comments. I really do appreciate that. That means a lot. That I'm not sitting here by myself talking to a camera with no meaningful connection to people at all. So without further ado, that'll be the end of this stream. I did post 2 videos earlier to talk about sort of browsing for music and some interesting things about Qobuz and Spotify that I noticed today. Some really cool kinds of sounds on that song. If you do want the playlist, I'm going to try to fill up my YouTube profile with more information. So I have a Discord open. I have an Instagram you can follow. I have a Facebook page that you can follow to see all of the photography for my audio shows. Email is in the YouTube profile. So if you want to email me something, that would be fantastic. I didn't really see any super chats go through today. So that means the goal didn't get reached. That means I'm not going to do a request stream. But perhaps next time. I appreciate everybody being here anyways. So from me to you, please enjoy your music however you get it. Don't worry about what people say about how you enjoy it. Just enjoy it. The fact that anybody has anything to say at all means they're not listening to their own music. Tell them to be quiet. Tell them to go listen to their own music. Don't worry about the ones that have nitpicky opinions. You know, we all have an opinion, just like we all have a... I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your neighbors. Have fun. We'll see you in the next one.